So, Jonas, when did you start playing hockey, and was there like a game that you watched, a player, someone that you remember from early in your hockey career?
I was 4 years old when I started. My older brother, he played hockey, so I always went to his games, and I thought it was pretty cool, and I told my dad when I was 4 that I want to start hockey.
Did you have a favorite professional player or favorite national team or NHL team or anyone?
Not really. To be honest, I didn't really watch NHL when I was younger. I started watching it when I was a little older, when I was like 13, 14 on YouTube. I just watched the highlights, but before that, I didn't know anything about professional league or anything. So, but yeah, as I got older, I got to know more about it and all the leagues and everything. So, yeah.
What's your favorite youth hockey memory?
I probably got two. One is the Peewee tournament. I think you attend that one when you're around 11 or 12. It's in Quebec. It's the biggest youth hockey tournament, and just to experience that, fly overseas with your team, play in Canada in a big arena against Canadian teams or American teams. I think that was pretty cool, and I think that's something I always look back to because it was my first big experience with hockey. And the other one, I would say, it's probably the Youth Olympic Games. I think I was 16 when I did that, and that was pretty cool as well. Just like a smaller Olympic Games. You got to know other athletes, other country, and I think overall, both of them were probably my favorite experiences.
And just some general questions for our notebook, but when you look at last night's game, the defensive effort was there. There was a lot of good things. What are you guys taking away from that game as you head into the rest of a very busy week?
Yeah, I think it was very like a big defensive game. I think on both sides. I think we played well. I think we maybe we got to find our offense a little bit more, but I think they were focusing on that as well, on playing good defense, playing good structure, and we're just got to stay patient and try to crack them at some point, and it might be early in the game or later in the game, but I think the main focus is that we just stay calm, play our game structured, and we don't crack.
This is the third time playing Toronto this season. What has stood out about those two previous games that maybe you remember from them?
They're a good team. They have skill. They're structured, and I think they're one of the top teams in the league. And I think we can be on the same level. And if we play our game properly over 60 minutes, as I said, stay patient and don't open up the game at some point. I think we're in in a good position, and as I said, maybe try our offense a little bit, and at the end we'll see how it's going to happen.
Hi, Paul. Yes, please. So
I don't want to take it in the shower.
This weekend is Next Generation Weekend. We're trying to grow the fan base here in New Jersey, so I'm just going to ask you a couple memories of youth hockey and if there was a team or player that you liked growing up. Paul, when it comes to thinking back to your playing days, what's your hockey origin story? What was a player or team that you started growing up watching?
I was always a Penguins fan, Crosby fan like the rest of them. I was a big fan of Thomas Tatar, watched him a lot. I was a Sid fan. It's pretty cool to play against him, but growing up in Plymouth, the Plymouth Stingrays, Thunder Sharks, hated it at first, but parents paid for the session, so made me finish it out, and by the time I ended, I got a little faster, so ended up liking it, and from then on out, it seems like each year I've grown in a level, higher league, so, and here we are.
What stands out when you think back to games you may have watched when you were younger, whether it was Olympics, NHL, is there any that jump out in mind?
Yes, I remember when we were I'm oddly enough, a pretty big shootout guy. I love watching them, watching the misses, watching the makes, kind of everything. So I remember I think I was in Brookings, South Dakota, in the Knoll, and Terry was doing his shootout for USA, and I think he went 5-hole on forehand once, 5-hole on backhand once, and never been too good at the 5-hole makes, but just always remembered that as a pretty cool memory.
When you look up in the stands or you see Devils fans around, there's a lot of younger kids right now. This weekend is all about growing the next generation. What's it like to experience and see how many young fans New Jersey does have?
It's awesome. I mean, you sometimes forget. Sometimes you take a step back and realize that, one of those kids that's screaming and saying this is awesome is us, at one point. So my mom sent me a couple clips of old camera footage of me and my dad going to the Red Wings game, and that was just pretty cool to see that, and now we're where we are now. So just stuff like that, those kids have no idea. They could be taking my spot one day. So it's pretty cool to see, the younger generation like it as much as we did, and hopefully we can, continue to grow the sport.
And just a quick question generally about the team. When you look at the focus and the drive and the determination to keep getting better each day as you head into this second half of this busy week, what have you liked about that team's resilience?
It's great. I mean, we've had a lot of hot streaks. We've had a cold streak, and individuals as well has had the same thing. And but this team is just great together. Off the ice, everyone's pushing each other, little inside jokes, stuff like that. So we have a tight knit group, and I'm sure every team is tight, but I think ours is at a little bit of a different level. And I think the Prague trip helped getting everybody close right away. And when you have a team like that, it's wins, losses, it doesn't matter. It's we're tight, and at the end of the day, we'll get better on those wins and losses because of that.
Sheldon, when it comes to growing the next generation of fans, which is the theme for this weekend, we see a lot of Devils fans that are kids in the stands. How are you seeing your team help inspire people's love of the sport of hockey?
Well, I love the way our players interact with the fans. Be it on our game nights, see them here, or just even around the facility, and that. I think we've got a great group of guys that recognize their role in the community. I know it's extremely important to the entire organization and the work that's done with the Devils Youth Foundation, all these kind of things. We're trying to grow the game and expose the game to as many people as possible, and a lot of times, positive interactions and relationships is the way to do that. So it's really important, for our organization. It's important to me as a coach, and we've got a good group of guys that embrace that.
Sheldon, obviously tomorrow's game is one where you're returning to somewhere where you spent basically your entire coaching career. Is there anything you think about going into that game? And I'm not sure I'd believe you if you said you didn't have something there, because it is a big moment.
Yeah,
it's not the right word.
Yeah, no, it's. I'm excited for it. That place is, as you say, I spent 9 years there. It's just, there's the Leafs time, but the Marlies time, was equally special to me. And I was fortunate to essentially raise my family there, and in fact, they're still living there. So, it's great to get back there. I'll be able to have lots of friends and family and such in the building. And then also just to see the faces around the arena. I've been able to connect in the 2 games that we've played the Leafs here in Jersey with lots of the traveling party and that I'm used to seeing. But there's a lot of people throughout the organization and then through the building that you are used to seeing and are such a big part of your career that it's a chance to reconnect with them and see them. And it's going to be a little funny walking to the visiting side of things, but I fully expect that once the puck drops, it's going to be hockey, and you're going to just kind of do your thing that way. But all the other stuff outside of it, it is different and unique, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll try my best to enjoy it.
How does being there for 9 years, going through that gauntlet of what Toronto is, help you become the coach that you are today that's right for New Jersey in the time you guys are now?
Well, I think there's a few things that come with it. I mean, it's probably not the most ideal situation for your first coaching job in the NHL. However, I do feel like I've benefited greatly from experiencing that, because I think it's something that is a special opportunity, very unique in the league, and both in the talent that's there and the organization and how it runs, and the expectations and the pressure and the fan base and such. So I grew a lot through that. I believe I've got thicker skin as a result. I think I've kind of been through a lot there that's helped me grow probably quicker than normal, and I think I've come out the other side of it all right, and feel like I was all the more prepared coming into this job, and feel like I'm sort of ready for anything that comes up, and I think it just with any experience helps you grow. With that experience, it probably speeds up the growth process, I guess is what I'd say.
Sheldon, when you talk about pressure in Toronto and playing in that market, you look at a smaller market like a Columbus or New Jersey, and people say, well, there's not as much pressure. But isn't there always a certain amount of pressure when you're a coach? Like, you come here, there's a pressure to reach the playoffs. Maybe it's a different type, but there's always that pressure when you're a head coach?
Without a doubt. I mean, that's something to me, when I was asked those types of questions, even being in Toronto, is how you manage that. There's personal pressure. There's internal pressure. I mean, I started out coaching 7 years at the junior A level in Pembroke, Ontario with the Pembroke Lumber Kings. That was tremendous pressure for me because I'm a competitor. I want to win. Not to mention at that level, I didn't win. We didn't make any money. It was hard to, support a family at that level. And that rings true when I go to Sault Ste. Marie. That's the only show in town. Like, it's everything to that community. I felt pressure there. I go to the Marlies. I mean, it's got a ton of resources there. It's a big city as AHL markets go. There's pressure there. There's expectation. There's eyeballs on you. And then the NHL, of course, in being the pinnacle of it all. But I still feel the same here. I mean, I have internal pressure and expectations of myself. Try to operate with a high standard with our entire organization, with our players. We expect to make the playoffs. We expect to be a contender every single year, and that's hard to do. So I take every day very seriously here, and there's a lot of passion in this fan base. I've learned that quickly. Like, this is a very passionate fan base that expects a lot from their team and from their players and from their coach, and I don't take that lightly for a second.
Just to build off of that a little bit, as a head coach, you kind of have to tune out the white noise and outside noise and just focus on at the task at hand. But you've gotten a lot of support from the fan base, a passionate fan base here in New Jersey. Is that something that you pay attention to at all, or are you really just hyper-focused on?
I think I'm hyper-focused on it. I think, again, going back to my experience in Toronto, you have to be able to just focus on what you can control, what's inside your walls, and doing what you believe is best. That said, I recognize the support of the fans. I also recognize the impatience at times, when they want to get hard on the team if we're not performing. It's not quite the same as Toronto, but I still get recognized out and about in the city and in the community, and people have been terrific, as they were in Toronto. So all that stuff has remained the same in that sense for me. But yeah, it ultimately really is most important to just focus on what I can control as a coach, and then have that run through our entire team. Is just recognize the task at hand and do our absolute best every day.
Any updates on Steph Neeson?
He's not progressed well enough to be able to travel with us today.
Thank you. Have a good trip.